Jenny and I just arrived in Launceston, and now we've just moved out of the little inn we're staying at, and we're at Cataract Gorge. Fairly spectacular. Have to watch the light here. Don't know where Jenny is. Seems to be a circular walk around here. Well, I said a little bit at the beginning. Oh, you've started me talking now. It's rather cool here, and Jenny wants me to talk.
So we just arrived?
Yeah, we just arrived. We're out on our first walk. We're about halfway up the gorge. Fairly spectacular rock formations. Well, we're still in the gorge, we're still continuing on our path. It's quite interesting every turn you take. It's unbelievable. You're amongst the walking beside the rocks, the huge rocks, and all of a sudden we're going further up the gorge, and in front of me there's a suspension bridge and a chairlift. Very spectacular down below too. Petrol is 75 cents a litre. I won't be going too far, although Jenny will push me. Anyway, we'll go into the stables. Well, it's our second day in Tasmania. We left Launceston this morning, and we're on the north coast now. We're up at Boat Harbour. And we're staying in a delightful little cottage. I'll show you in a minute. That's it. Hannah's Cottage. It's a beautiful spot. I'll take you inside in a minute. It's a pity we're only staying here one night because we have to leave tomorrow morning. Well, we're inside the cottage now. Very delightfully finished. There's Jenny just had some beautiful local bread and cheese. What's she got there? It's a little, what is it, a bear?
Isn't he gorgeous?
Yeah.
Isn't that the most beautiful bear?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's very well presented, the whole accommodation. I'll take you through. This is the lounge room area with a fireplace. The front door. There's one bedroom over there, and the main bedroom is in here. There's an old record player. Big double bed, high bed, brass bed, iron bed. There's an old rocking chair there, rest a while. Very nice, very well finished. Everything's been thought about as far as what goes into it. The old Duchess over there. I've even got an someone's old nightie hanging up. I don't think it's Jenny's. But it's so... This is looking out now. The lights in the background.
Is it? Have a look at this.
Don't just stay there. Don't go near the doorway. That's great.
Isn't it beautiful? Over here. It's just like Mrs. Nan's old place, isn't it? Gorgeous.
There she is in her old rocking chair.
Oh, it's hard.
Watch the wall. Well, we'll go out and have another look at another room. This is a second bedroom. So to accommodate, you know, for comfortably, old style. This is from the second bedroom looking out into the lounge room again. Quite nice, very nice. It's a pity we have to go tomorrow. But you never know, it's just your luck of the draw. Is Jenny still eating the beautiful bread? They gave us the bread, a real nice loaf of bread. We bought some cheese at a cheese farm, homemade cheese at a farm. And got some apple juice. Fresh bread and cheese, beautiful. The old kitchen, Duchess. Now I'll show you the bathroom. Bathroom's gone all mod cons with a big spa bath. It's fairly straightforward, there's nothing. Still well laid out. Nice big spa bath. Well, that's the tour of the Hannah's cottage is about to end. And we finish up with Jenny, the lady of the house, just relaxing.
Gorgeous old house.
Yeah, so everything's old here. It's picked up some old Naples postcards and all that. And we'll be watching the TV tonight over there. A little tea set there, coffee set. There's a wood fire if we want it. Wood cut. Overall, very, very well done. On that note, we'll finish. Well, we've left Boat Harbour this afternoon and we just for a drive we went up to Stanley. It's a quaint little town, quaint being the operative word.
Historical. It's called the Nut.
Jenny's saying to me beside me that the hill behind there is called the Nut. After our big walk yesterday, you can walk up there, but I'm not going to attempt it today. My legs are a bit tired. This is Easter Monday and there's not many people around, pretty quiet.
It's very quiet on Tuesday too.
Jenny says it might be quiet on Tuesday also. Very quiet place, as you can see. That's the township of Stanley over there, and the hill in the background is called the Nut. There's a chairlift that goes up there and it's surrounded by quaint little cottages. Very overcast day. Some board riders out there, I think. So far away, I don't know what they're doing. Take one more shot of the Nut. That's the township of Stanley again. Another shot out to the Bass Strait. That's the Bass Strait out here. That's the mainland again. Won't see much of it. We're back at Boat Harbour. This is Hannah's cottage at night time with the fire on. I don't know whether there's enough light in, so I'm on automatic now, and I will put it over to manual. See, I'll take 2 shots. And the lady of the house is over there. There she is. Just had her supper. There she is. It's been a very nice day, really, today, this afternoon. Very happy with the accommodation tonight. Lovely place. Jenny's fallen in love with the teddy bear there. She wants to get another one, but I don't think. I think it's a bit of a waste of money. She'll get over it.
I think I might get one if I want to.
Okay, I'll just go back to the fireplace. We've got a nice fire going. It's already set up for us, and all we did was put the match to it. It's warming the whole room. So I'll stop now, and then I'll put on manual just in case it doesn't show up too good. Okay, we're recording now on manual focus. Let's see if it comes up better than on automatic with this lighting. Might do. There's Jenny over there. Still a very nice home, little home. I think we'll close on the fireplace. Nice warm night. Pretty cool outside. Just stop now. While I'm here, I may as well do the main bedroom again, just in case it can come up too good. Very hard to know whether you're getting in focus or not. It's a great little rocking chair. Everything's so authentic. Okay, well, I think I'll stop that thing on. Leave it go there. I thought while I had the opportunity, I'd take a last few more shots of the Killinort cottages at Boat Harbour. This is the outside of our cottage. Well, it's actually the side of the cottage. Got nice little flowers on the side. It reminds us very much of Lennox Head. I'll take you around the front now. Jenny's still inside. She's been in the spa for about a half an hour, I think. We need some assistance getting out. This is the front of the cottage. I think it'll be one of our highlights staying here on our holiday, I think. See the little chimney there, the fireplace. We had the fire going last night. Very nice. It reminds us very much of Lennox Head. And we'll finish on the flowers. In the straw and motor in, not too happy about that, but there's some beautiful cottages again right near the wharf, but they're booked out. This is the what I think is the Gordon River, the mouth of the Gordon River. We're going on a cruise tomorrow. The main area of Strawn is over here.
Macquarie Harbour.
Jenny tells me it's Macquarie Harbour.
might have some black stones running down through it. The black stones are actually seams of coal. It's full coal heading off our left side. It was the scene of the first coal mine in Tasmania, being operated by the convicts from down at Sarah Island, which lies down in front of us off our right now. When the convicts were here though, they mined coal across there off our left and were taking it back down to Sarah Island to use in their forge stand for cooking. It's a very poor grade of coal though, and never mined commercially. Station on Phillip Island. Now, it was when the supply ships, sailing ships, when they were coming around from Hobart back in the 1820s to service the convict islands in front of it, but the pilot out at Hell's Gate at the entrance to the harbour, when he'd seen that sailing ship coming up the coastline, he'd on a signal fire out at Hell's Gate. The observer on Phillip Island up our left seen the smoke from Hell's Gate, then another signal fire. That was to make the commandant aware, down on Sarah Island down in front of it, that there was a sailing ship approaching Hell's Gate. The commandant on Sarah Island would then dispatch 3 or 4 whale boats with convicts in it. They then row the 17 miles from Sarah Island out to Hell's Gate to row that sailing ship across the bar and through the entrance. Not an easy task, but the 2 convict islands coming up down here in front of us, we were going in between the 2 islands, and once we get a bit closer to them, we're back to tell the history of them. Kelly was the first part of the Hobart back to the early 1800s, but he was commissioned by the government and private enterprise to come on a voyage with the discovery around Tasmania, and simply to boat here because there was nothing known about it back at that time. So James Kelly discovered Macquarie Harbour, the 2 islands in front of the river, and the large canyons of Hill and Pine were up the river. This being the same boat to the steeper. The circuit navigating Tasmania returning breakfast, telling me that sort of a go, it's really the worst it's told me to actually see here, but they still seem to pretty bad, you know, and it was just the first 4 years of the settlement, that the toll was issued 33,700 lashes of catazine tails for an average of 150 convicts. That was in the first 4 years. So originally on the island there was 29 buildings on the middle of the government back in the mid-1800s did force to destroy most of the buildings, quite a few of the records, possibly to try and cover up the shame in the whole of the settlement. But all that remains on the day are basically known as the jails, the breakdowns and the penitentiaries. Like later on this afternoon we'll be going back up the harbour going out to Bell's Gate, which has some close buildings to their right and still photograph one of those with no security strong special, that'll be the other end of the penitentiary. So there are, off our right side, 1822 to 1830, but the island is only a natural one. But the small island or rock coming up off our left side, the deep, all rough it up. There was some successful escapes from here though, and the book The Men That God Forgot tells of how 10 convicts escaped on the last ship that was built here at Frederick. The convicts took over that vessel on its way out to Hell's Gate, putting the souls ashore. They then sailed to Frederick halfway around the world to South America. Well, you can purchase those 2 books, The Convict's Natural Life or The Men That God Forgot There at the Bar. As I say though, we're having a close look at the islands on our way back up the harbour later on this afternoon. The rugged mountain range you can see right out in the distance off our left side there now with the Sawtooth Snake casting sail down the west coast in front of the peak of it and remain the refreshing cat. So we've got, we'll just a little bit over 3 miles down a travel before we reach the Gordon River, which lies directly in front of us. Another 7 or 8 minutes should put us into the Gordon from here. Well, now that we'll slow down, we'll be going slow for you the rest of our trip upstream and back down again. But, the Gordon River here, though, is one of Tasmania's longest rivers. It's 130 miles long and starts at headwaters out of a small lake called Lake Richmond, which lies up in the Central Highlands, not far away from the township of Dornbridge, but the first half the Gordon River's journey though from Lake Richmond takes her on an east-southeasterly course through to Lake Gordon. From there though she heads on a westerly direction, ending up in the bottom end of Macquarie Harbour here. The river flows through some very mountainous country though, with average through the forest, so we have brilliant rust-tail possum, venison rufous wallaby, native cats, bush rats, echidnas, wombats and Tasmanian devils. Also the black and tiger snake, they both live in here in the clearings, they're both venomous. And also you get quite a lot of platypus here in the river. Although a lot of people they do expect to see a lot of bird life on the river, but unfortunately you don't. And shrinkage of any other timber around, it won't open up or move on you under the direct sunlight. You see the celery top fine though, you can see the windows up off our left side there, right up the top of the ridge off our left, the trees standing up there with the darker tops and another celery. So you see they grow quite straight and uniform. Of course they grow so straight, they used to make masts and spars and release sailing ships out of them, and also hydro and telegraph poles here in the west coast. Third pine that grows up in here, the King William, although we can't show you those, which they go up to 200 metre level and higher, right up to the snow line, but that's a very soft open grain timber. Spread really good shingles and palings out of it. It was used quite a lot for joinery work in years gone by, making window frames and sashes out of it, and also a little bit of patchwork and boat building out of the King William. Go through bones, but no matter how wet the forest is, you can always get a fire sparrow of the dead roots and leave the pan damage.
How much do you want then? How much do you want? Do you have enough chocolate?
Yeah, awesome. I'm not doing it.
How much do you want?
I know about bottles like that.
For of the water, the brown screen caused by the tannic acids that leach out of the forest and butt grass country. But it is all good drinking water in now, and as brown as what the river looks, so you can drink the water straight from the river where we are. So I took a coffee this morning, or tried some. See a line of trees off our right side there, you see up from the bank of the river. Trees there with the lighter green tops of them. Some more up the round top hill off our right, but ones with the lighter green tops are a Tasmanian blackwood. So blackwood's part of the acacia family or wattle family. It's a reddish browny coloured timber and beautiful timber for furniture making. But you see quite a lot of the stands of blackwood up through here, those through very bush in the tops and lighter green tops, other blackwood. The sassafras, but that's a nice green to making timber as well. It's also a very good wood turning timber, particularly the black-hearted sassafras. Probably seen some of that turn like car shops around Tasmania, but Miles, no one who's in this country, did very similar what you see through here, particularly the west coast, so south of Macquarie Harbour or south of here to Port Davey. No one walks in that country, so possibly could be Tasmanian fighters left here, but anymore. All the stands of pine come under World Heritage, National Park or conservation areas, but they were cutting some Huon pine up until 2 years ago out of the King River area south of Queenstown, where Lake Burberry is now. But there's still 2 mills that are operating back at Strawn, and they're using the timber that come from where Lake Burberry is, so you can still purchase it. Give you an idea how quickly the banks drop off here. We've got 30 metres or 100 feet of water beneath our keel, right where we are here. The straight section route you're looking up off our left here now is called Expectation Reach, and 2 little mountain ranges you can just make out up in the distance there at the end of Expectation Reach, part of the Craycroft Range. So this is the turning round point now for all commercial cruise vessels, but although anyone with private craft, they can go up the river as far as you like or as far as you can get at whatever speed, but there's no restrictions on private craft. So we'll be turning here in a moment. Once we've turned though, we'll have our run, trip back down street down to Heritage Landing, so we're going ashore down to Heritage Landing shortly for our rainforest walk.
We're on a elevated walkway up the Gordon River. There's Jenny in front of me. I don't know if this will come out. It seems fairly bright on the video. Right in the forest.
You right?
Yep.
Girl.
I didn't know if you were in front or the back. It's such a crowd. I think there's such a beautiful timber inside this mess, huh?
Here is another one here.
This is that is so small. You see this house much bigger than this.
That's the complex settlement.
See up there right side there, that's pushing up along the front side off there right side, so that's one going over the street. The lock is pushing that's right. That's kind of here and up there right side, we see those two waves breaking through there. That's all shallow water out there, that's like island. That's where the reef through there, so they both go off through there, but they use the narrow entrance to the front of it. So when the ships, when they were coming to shore and they were sitting up the cover, the entrance at that time was completely manned. The houses are off our left here, they used to house the harbour master, the pilots and their assistants lived down here, but it was their job to maintain the lights, do the soundings on the outer bar and through the channel here, and also pilot the ships in and out through Hell's Gate. Because there's no ships coming into Strawn these days, so these houses have been sold off by the Hobart Marine Board, and they've been brought and taken over by local West Coast people to use as shacks. Because they're only the ships that have been wrecked at the entrance over the years, there's been some 16 of them. There's been a few actually hit the rock on either side of it. Although those vessels have ended up drifting back out to sea and have ended up in shallow shore and up our right there, those loads of wrecks. It's like all the wrecks around the middle of the state, it's all broken up and disappeared under the sand over the years. Now on the stern of the vessel there now, we're looking back behind, so we get a view there on Friday, looking back through, I'll just go back to the Friday harbour. At the front there, you've got a view of what's going back through it. Our great boy you can see off our left side here, protruding out to sea out front, that was built at the same time as they built the inner rock running pole. They used the loco though to bring the stone out through it. Some of the stone break were way up to 40 tonnes at the base, but the stone was quarried back behind us on our left. They used to put the stone on a trolley in front of the loco, bring it out to the breakwater, pushing the stone off the trolley with a large steam ran, blade the rails as they went. But you appreciate enough to take to run a loco along and then breaking back behind us on our right. It's under those conditions when the bar's breaking all through this area like that no boat will get across it then. Well, Southern Ocean that we're coming out into now and looking out in front of us. Curtis land over to high due west at this point now is 8,000 miles to South America. We actually missed the bottom of South Africa on this latitude by about over 300 miles to South America. But we are waves and past the roaring 40s on the west coast here. Well, 10 metre high ground as well, it's not uncommon for the coastline form of winter months. But there's IRO landers and boys, keeping on clear off the coast here. We're going to report that back at Strawn. There's a lot of weather going, but every report shows up to 30 metres high, that wave vector. Probably closer to about 2.5 metres south-west of speed range, actually straight up the coast on the road, so ideal conditions if you want.
This is our second day in Hobart in southern Tasmania. We've just left Hobart and for a day morning trip, and we're down in the Huon Valley, and all the apple orchards. Every couple of kilometres there's a big orchard. About a couple of kilometres back, there was a big apple tree growing just by the side of the road. It was laden with apples. Well, we arrived in Hobart, and this is our room. It's a very luxurious room. It's in the Battery Point Manor. Very nice indeed. Very well laid out and furnished. Got a beautiful view of the Derwent River out our window. I'll show you in a minute. I really don't know how this is going to work, because when I go up to the light of the big windows, it won't. It'll be too much light. We'll give it a go. I'll give you a shot out the window. This is the view from our window. It's very nice. Yes. That's the Hobart Casino there. Jenny's just come in with the cup of tea, cup of coffee. As I said, it's very well laid out. I'll go outside shortly and show you the front of the manor. While we're here, we can see the lady of the manor. Here's another view from our window at the Battery Point Manor. Well, we're on Rooney Island. We just come across from the mainland on a ferry, and we're now going to go up on a lookout. Jenny's there. And we're going right up there. This is a point that looks over the, we're on the northern island, we will be looking down to the southern island. Not halfway up yet, but it's blowing a gale, very windy. That's looking out to the ocean there. Very windy. The jetty's gone up there. I'll have to follow her in a minute. Yes. Yes, it's blowing. I'll stop now and I'll get up there myself. Look out here. It's the mainland over there. Well, we're up the top. We're looking down over the isthmus to the South Island. Pretty good here. Very high. There's the road with the ocean on one side and the calmer water on this side. There's the mainland. Oh, no, that's the island down there.
Down there, I'm sure you might find a little penguin, eh? Some little
Oh,
penguin, do
well.
you think?
Well, over there. Oh. Can't get close enough. I doubt if it's a penguin.
Oh, it's nice.
It could be. Too far away. Doesn't seem to be blown as bad. Big fun?
About the two little black and white ones.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get there closer.
Yeah,
We'll have a look. It's the ocean side again. Very spectacular scenery again. This seems to be a dirty big sandhill. There's a monument or a plaque up here concerning the last Aborigines. Start our descent, the wind starts again, Jenny's off. I can realise why they put the railing on one side. Get the wind is tremendous. How often now go to the South Island? It's such a nail. Oh, it's really good. Well, Jenny's gone collecting some shells along the beach here. Not a soul around. This, as the sign says, Adventure Bay. We've just been to the Penguin area where we had a afternoon tea. We're on our way back to pick up the ferry, but we stopped here because of the beside the road there's a garden. And there's the garden. It's just a mass of asters and daisies, dahlias, very colourful. And they're just growing up by the roadside. On the other side of the road is the bay. Well, it's Saturday morning in Hobart and we're at the Salamanca markets. They're down by the wharf. It's a bit like the markets in Brisbane at Eagle Street. Well, we've left Hobart this morning. We've been on the road about an hour and on our way to Port Arthur, but we've diverted to this place with a blowhole, which I'll go over in a minute. I'm waiting for something to happen. I think you'd have to have the big waves coming in, hon.
Well, the stench is a bit nervous.
This place is, I found out, is called Dootown, D-O-O-T-O-W-N. It's a fishing village, really. It's on the, this pier is on the other side of the blowhole, only about 50 metres apart. That's a small shark most likely caught on the pier here last night. Out of focus. There's a what remains of a decent sized flathead. Well, we've arrived at the Port Arthur Motor Inn, and at the moment I'm having a cup of coffee. There's some nice fresh buns we bought down the highway from a bakery, and we're having nice smoked salmon on fresh buns and a cup of coffee. We'll start looking around. We've booked in for the restaurant this evening. And we're right above the Port Arthur convict ruins by the look of it. They're over here. But I think you have to have a conducted tour. I'll find out later on. It's a bit of old brickwork there. Oh, the nice countryside. Well, I think I'll go back to my smoked salmon and and Barnum coffee. Well, we've finally made it to the Port Arthur convict site.
And this number is the other
certain places that meant a certain message.
because that's the archive number.
Right.
Okay? So you have to have that as well. If you write to them, give them all that info. Let me just have a look at what's that fellow's name over there? Charles.
That was Charles, yeah.
Just let me see if you would think.
So there'd be no offspring of his.
I don't think so. Not if anyone up there.
No. I'd just like to know if there's any.
He would have gone on.
Yeah.
I would say at that early stage, he would have continued on. Because he hasn't got another offence down.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of times there have been 2 or 3 or 4 times in Port Arthur, and he only was there once,
Yeah.
so therefore he has no other record. Wouldn't, if he had had life or something, it would have been written on it.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd been gone on. But just let me have a look at him. No, there's no clippers at Point Pure. So that's always clipped. No, no. So that would be the one.
Right. Oh, so this old fellow over here would just.
He would have transported it. He could have. When they stopped transportation in 1853, they were all the old convicts here from all over Australia. They weren't necessarily convicts at that stage, they were just paupers, and they had nowhere to put them. So they brought them here to like make some like an asylum for all the old men, old convicts.
So there's been no records of their death or anything?
The only records of their death would be if they were shipped up to Rochester and over up to the old men's institute, the mental ill, where they sent the last old convicts to. See, why he hasn't got a record is because he wasn't convicted of crime. Right. That's what I would assume. He was sent here and his conviction was somewhere else.
He went the day he got there. Yeah, the day he got there. And then they got him the day before. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Like he's dreaming all the way back.
But then he was
The church built by the convicts. Church, of course, hasn't got a roof, but not being on a guided tour, we don't know why. Very interesting inside, though. This is one taken from the tower on one of the church. Not very high. Nice coloured stone in here. Yeah, I suppose we're getting close to it.
Just through there well. This is Government Cottage. Government Gardens and Government Cottage.
Yeah, little circle. It's white and black. Yeah, John.
This is the garden in front of the government cottage we just took.
Is that little circle?
Yeah, don't worry about this.
This is inside the government cottage. Like a little maze of brickwork. Fireplace practically in every little room. It's a huge building, that.
Was the big attraction of this area. They decided to send convicts down here to get that timber. Also, the security of the peninsula was another thing going for it. It's almost an island, the peninsula, only joined to the mainland of Tasmania by that narrow strip of land at Eagle Hawk Neck. They put a guard station at Eagle Hawk Neck. It was soldiers to begin with, but later dogs as well were trained across that neck of land. 18 dogs in total they had, and it was a burglar alarm. Some of the dogs were on platforms out into the water. They had lanterns for night time. And in the time that was operating, we only know of 11 convicts who successfully escaped from here. Many tried, but only 11 that we know of who actually made it. And most of them were recaptured. Also the closeness to Hobart. It wasn't right on the doorstep of the capital city, but it only took them a day to come here in their sailing ships. It wasn't a road through until after the convicts left, so their supplies and people came by boat. There was no free land ownership here on the peninsula until after the convicts left. It was just the convicts here. Initially 60 convicts came in 1830 with the British military. The British military came as the guards, and they did that job here for many, many years. Various regiments came and went. And the first few commandants here, the bosses, were also British military officers, so a very long association with the old British military. The first guys started cutting the timber. They built some very basic bark and timber huts. They were mainly along that shoreline over there, but there's nothing left of their constructions now. By the end of 1834, Port Arthur had become a penal settlement, mainly for second offender convicts. And at that time, there was over 700 men under sentence here. Prior to Port Arthur, in Tasmania, we had a penal settlement on the west coast. That was Macquarie Harbour, Sarah Island. Some of you may have been up that way, or perhaps heading in that direction. And on the east coast was Maria Island. But they closed, and Port Arthur became the only one in Tasmania. In fact, before Port Arthur's closure, it was the only one still going in Australia. Just to fit it into perspective for you, where penal settlements come into the system, there were actually 7 classes of convicts in Australia. Your top-of-the-range man was a ticket of leave person, and that was someone who could virtually live and work wherever they liked. They had to report to the authorities on a regular basis, but they could own land and they could marry with permission. You come down to your assigned convicts, and they were men who were assigned to work for the free landowners. Coming down, you had your road gangs, men who went out and built roads for the government, bridges and so on. Road gang in chains was another class. Coming down further still, you had your stone breakers. Second last on the scale was a penal settlement like Port Arthur. Very bottom of the scale was to be here in chains, penal settlement in chains. And it was mainly second offenders, convicts who'd committed further crimes once they'd been transported to Australia, who came to places like Port Arthur penal settlement. So they were the hardened criminals. Although things changed, at one time it was men sentenced to long periods of transportation came directly to Port Arthur. And political convicts, Irish and Canadian political convicts, were sent here too. Because of the security, they wanted to get those influential people away from the normal run-of-the-mill citizen and were afraid of the influence they would have. By the late 1840s, Port Arthur reached its peak of convicts when there was about 1,200 men under sentence here at that time. Also then, with the British military who were here, with the free people who worked here, and they had their wives and children here as well, not the convicts, the military and free that is, the total population was probably about 2,500 people. It was quite a place. In total, about 12,500 to 13,000 convicts passed through Port Arthur in the 47 years. In 1833, coming back to then, that was when Commandant Charles O'Hara Booth arrived here, probably the most outstanding commandant that was here. He served here for 11 years. This was his first experience ever at a penal settlement, but he's certainly recognised today as being a very forward-thinking person. He established a separate prison for boys. He established Australia's first passenger-carrying rail system. It was convict-powered, but it was Australia's first rail system here on the peninsula. A good indication of how it all happened. All of the hard physical work was done by the men. They carried the timber out of the bush on their shoulders. They called them centipede gangs, sometimes taking 70 men to carry just one log. You could imagine it would look like a centipede coming down the hill with this log up on their shoulders. There were 48 trades we've established the convicts were employed in here. Timber was the biggest industry. Dad's house, we could see, almost framed between two big gum trees over the way. It is one of our oldest surviving buildings now. It was built in 1833 for Commandant Booth when he came here. Back then, it was only a 4-room weatherboard cottage. He was a single man when he arrived, so they obviously thought we only need 4 rooms. But it has grown over the years. Booth married while he was here in 1838. He married Elizabeth Eagle, his lovely Lizzie, and she had one daughter while they were here. They extended a bit onto the house, but not a lot. William Champ came in 1844 after Booth had left, and he had 8 children when he arrived here, so he put quite a bit onto the house. And each commandant afterwards added or altered something to it. It hasn't been restored to any particular period, and we are showing you stages the house went through. Some rooms are beautifully finished and furnished, others we've then got the ceiling out, another with the floor out, and you can see how the house has evolved. Some wonderful features of the house. And we have a guide stationed up there. So any questions you might have about Port Arthur, you can ask. After the convict period, the Commandant's house became a hotel. It was known as Hotel Carnarvon, and it used to boast accommodation for 22 guests. It was bought back by the government in the 1930s. By then they were starting to buy back buildings as they became available, as they came up for sale, and gradually it was turned into the state reserve. Of course, it underwent restoration with the rest of the buildings at Port Arthur in the 1970s, 1980s, when the major restoration program happened here, a 7-year project. The round guard tower, just behind the tree, was one of the earliest stone buildings constructed. Most important for the old British military, of course, to have a guard tower. They manned it 24 hours a day and kept an eye over the harbour, and the main store for the settlement was just below the bank, where the Brown Sentry Hut is now. There used to be a huge double-storey commissariat store there, but that, of course, burned in the fire. If you pop into the Sentry Hut and have a look, we do have some pictures of the old jetties and walls and that store on the waterfront. Back up to the guard tower. Underneath the tower, you enter this area from road level, is the condemned cell. They didn't hang convicts at Port Arthur. For crimes such as murder or serious stuff, they were sent to Hobart to be hanged or maybe up there for trial. But that's where they were put prior to them being taken on board a ship and sent out of here. Behind the tower is Tower Cottage. That was a married military officers' quarters in the convict days and served as a residence also for many years after. The door on the left-hand side is open, and we have a scale model in there of the military complex that used to be up on the hill behind. With huge barracks, and there was another guard tower. A lot of that, though, was torn down when Port Arthur was sold off. But it's good to get a close look, at least, at what used to be there. The big building directly in front of the wall, the penitentiary. This was the largest building in Australia when it was built here in the 1840s, but it was built as a flour mill and granary, not as a jail. The flour mill was powered by a water wheel. The water came from a creek in the hills up behind, and they didn't realise their creek dried up in dry summer. So they put a tread wheel into the mill, which was a punishment for convicts. It took 36 men to plough it. They dreaded that, absolutely. There's a lot of evidence of them sabotaging the works, maybe peddling it backwards and breaking the gears and the bolts. It was always breaking down. With the advent of steam, in other mills in other parts of Tasmania, this one was so outdated, they closed it down. They used it for storage for a while and converted it to the penitentiary in the 1850s, when Norfolk Island convict station was closing, the one off New South Wales coast. That was under Tasmania's control, Norfolk Island, and the convicts serving sentence there came here to Port Arthur when that settlement closed. They then converted their penitentiary, their flour mill. As you see, it was destroyed in the fires, 1897 bushfires, but it's stabilised. There are walkways, there are signs for you to read, and don't miss seeing the bit on the left-hand end, the watchman's quarters, with the roof and the two turret windows there. We've got a scale model of the entire settlement, of every building that was here in the 1860s. There is also a scale model of the old dockyard area, and there is an audio presentation. It goes for 8 minutes to tell you about the penitentiary, about its building, its use, and the restoration work that happened in the 1980s. And it was partly destroyed in the 1895 bushfires. They rebuilt it, they altered the front a little. The clock tower was actually on an angle initially. They've sort of straightened that up, and the wing here came a little further out. But basically the rest of the building was as it was in the convict days. And it served as the council chambers until the 1970s. And some people say, well, it didn't change use much since. I know firsthand it didn't. But it is now our museum, and I invite you to come in and have a look around. Normal artefacts, of course, are in this wing here, the things we'd expect to see. We do have a documentary, quite an important part of the whole system. Also, it reinforces what I've been saying, and a bit about the...
I mean, here... very thick. Taken from the yellow pumpkin-coloured Irishman's cottage. Got a beautiful vantage point up here. The whole area of Port Arthur. That's our motel over there. We're having dinner there tonight in about an hour and a half's time. Just there. Got a great spot for a motel. That's the hospital in front of me. That's the church, they're right over there. And this is the flour mill that became the penitentiary. This is going down closer to the waterfront now. I think we'll call it a day. It's a huge pear tree. The pears are just on the ground. And he's gonna... very big. Pears have all got insect bites on them. Well, we're back at Port Arthur. It's Sunday morning. We got here real early to get our boarding pass to go on our ferry ride, cruise. And I thought I'd take the opportunity to get some footage on video while there's hardly anybody here. Very nice spot. We'll leave early this afternoon for Swansea. All seagulls settled in. We're going for a walk through the penitentiary. Beautiful setting, scenery outside the bars.
Yeah, the better one up here is
Well, these are the size of the cells.
and see these here. This is the size here.
Well, what were the sizes?
7'4" by 4'6", and those little iron rings at the end were where they used to hang the hammocks. And there was no heating, and the whole thing was built over a marsh. Must have been enormously cold. And it was on this bottom row that the men were in heavy chains, and the chains weighed 13 kilograms on their feet.
I wouldn't be able to walk at all.
No, terrible. So there's the cement over the bricks.
Back at the waterfront, I've just realised that this beautiful island here was known as the Isle of the Dead. There's hundreds of, it's only a hectare, 1 hectare in size, and I understand there's hundreds of burial sites on it. Convicts and paupers. We'll be going over there later in the on the cruise, I imagine. There's very big trees here. There's Jenny in the distance. The size of the trees. This is on the point or the headland. This house overlooks the bay, and right in front of the house is a mature apple tree. Bit breezy.
Thank you so much. We are indeed fortunate that Port Arthur's Commissariat Officer, Mr. Lamprier, and his good lady can provide us with such fine entertainment. Ah, Dr. Casey, come on in.
Oh, but you...
And I think I take exception to, Mrs.
Ah, there you are. Now, what am I expecting?
This is the Commandant's kitchen area.
Take your choice. The captain's shot badger, kangaroo, wallaby and duck. Oh, and there's a few quail as well.
Well then, I'll start with kangaroo soup. There's a goose that can be baked, and a larder beef. That nice trumpet of fish the men brought in from their fishing expedition yesterday. And you, Mr. Hayward, seeing as how the captain likes to show off his gardening prowess, can go and gather me some strawberries and gooseberries while you're at it for more potatoes.
Your wish is my command, your ladyship.
Go on, be up with you, before this room wraps itself around your head. Maybe a kangaroo steamer wouldn't go astray. And how do you make that? A layer of pork, then a layer of thin slices of kangaroo, sprinkled with fine pot herbs, perhaps a little nutmeg, made into a round like small fillet of veal and boiled. Mercy no, steamed by its own gravy. I think the captain and his guests will be impressed with that. Now look me lift this pot off the fire. If we don't get to work, we'll never get done. Yes, ma'am.
The island, but it's a little island you can see in the middle of the bay out there on your right-hand side or starboard side. Our very first point of interest this morning, though, will be the old dockyard, and that's coming into view very shortly on your left-hand side or port side of the boat. The dockyard here at Port Arthur was one of the busiest industrial centres during the convict years. Some 200 vessels were produced here using a convict labour force, 186 tons. That ship was named Fanny in honour of Lieutenant Governor Arthur's young daughter. There are two buildings in existence out here today. The one to the right of the clearing with the shiny roof was built in 1834 to house the master shipwright, who at that time by Captain John Walsh. Whilst Walsh was in this area, he named the little island out in the middle of the bay Opossum Island. That was in honour of his vessel, the Opossum. This little island is only 2 acres in size, roughly 1 hectare, and is 1 mile out from Mason's Cove. That's coming into view again on your left-hand side or port side. In 1833, the name of this island was changed. The Wesleyan missionary, Reverend John Allen Manton, was given the task in that year of selecting a site for the cemetery for the settlement. He wrote in a pamphlet back to England at the time that it wasn't long before death and disease made their inroads among them, and that this lovely island would be a secure and undisturbed resting place where the departed prisoners may lay together until the morning of the resurrection. He renamed the island Isle of the Dead. The convicts here came to know it as Dead Island. By 1877, when Port Arthur closed down as a settlement, it's believed that 1,769 people had been buried on the island. That figure included just 183 people. When the free people died at Port Arthur, they were given a funeral ceremony similar to what we would receive ourselves today. They then were buried exclusively on the high ground of the island. Most of the free, we believe, had headstones, vaults, or crosses to mark their grave, depending on what their family or friends could afford. When the convicts died here, though, it was quite a different matter. In the early years, the convict's body was firstly handed to the surgeon, who could, if he wished, dissect that body. That was not just done to ascertain the cause of death. It was the only way the doctors at that time could increase their knowledge. Transported or hanged for petty theft and pickpocketing. Looking at the social and economic climate at that time, you can't help but feel that those rights that were transported really was a lucky one. They arrived out here in the new colony where they were given free meals a day, which they still had to beg for. They did not have to. They were given adequate clothing, shelter, bedding, medical assistance. They were given compulsory schooling at a time when schooling was not available to general masses. They were given compulsory religious instruction. Religion at that time was typically the only means of reforming a criminal mind. And in theory, no child comes to the settlement without first mastering one of 20 different trades. Some of the handwork of these boys who are still seen at the main settlement today. believe that that's most of the sandstone rocks of this church. It was erected. They never really meant to be self-equivalent. Boy convicts, of course, were separated from the adults for moral reasons, but they also did not want the adult convicts being a bad influence over these boys. The attempt at Point Pure was to reform. In theory, these boys would go on to become useful, productive members of the new society in the new colony. We're heading to London. Then we'll come around the back of Point Pure, look out on the right-hand side or starboard side. Actually looking out there on the private distant open ocean. Port Arthur Harbour is south of the Sandwich Land. That's the right of the main harbour entrance to the side of Cape Brown, and the left of the main harbour entrance will find Cape Brown and Tasman Island. Tasman Island is only 9 miles from Port Arthur and is the most southeastern point of Australia. The next land mass south of here, some 2,000 nautical miles away. That's actually what coastal whatever talking about. There's nothing between here and there except open ocean and a little tiny dot on the map, then Victoria Island.
We've just arrived in Richmond. It's only about 30 kilometres north of Hobart. It's on our. We've just come from Port Arthur though. We're on our way to Swansea, and we just had our morning tea here. Just noticed a rainbow out there. Quaint little place. Just had morning tea at this place there. We're in the front window seat. It's still Sunday and we're still on our way to Swansea. We left Richmond and we're at Orford at the moment and found a nice little spot and couldn't resist to take the shot. That's Maria Island in the distance. It used to be another penal settlement. I think it's raining over there. Beautiful little beach here. I think we've got another rainbow there. I don't know whether it'll come up. I think we'll say goodbye to Maria Island. Inside the shooting house we've got a just a bedroom and an ensuite. It's furnished in the old style again. Big double bed. Did you just try on the bed already? Reading a Women's Day or a new idea? Fireplace over there, but we've got electric fire, and the room here is the door there leads into the bathroom. Well, we finally arrived in Swansea. It's a nice little, very little seaside town on the east coast. We're staying tonight at the Shooting House. It's one of the old grand homes again. I like the manners. A nice restaurant inside. Starting to rain here. It's been raining off and on all the way up really from Port Arthur. The ocean out there. Here's another angle of the shooting house. We're on the top floor on the other side. Shooting house, gracious colonial bed and breakfast with ensuite. And the Fiddler's restaurant and cocktail bar. It's Monday morning. We've left Swansea and we're on our way back to Launceston, but we won't reach Launceston until late this afternoon. We're at a place called Coles Bay, and these are the hazards. The hazards are about 3 very large hills or small mountains, and they're the start of a national park. We won't have time to go into the national park, but they're quite spectacular really. Very overpowering. Very overcast, it's just stopped raining. Very cold really, there's a cold breeze blowing. Oh, it's going to rain again, I'm going to stop. Well, we're at Beshano. It's a seaside town again, ex-whaling station area, and unusual colouring on these rocks. The main attraction on this beach is a blowhole. Be fairly spectacular in rough weather. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a goodie. Well, we've reached Launceston. It's still Monday, and this is where we're staying tonight, in Kilmarnock House. Beautiful old residence, restored. We're in the front here, all self-contained. That's our room there, that little balcony there, alcove window. Beautiful home. This is our last day in Tasmania, full day. Tomorrow morning we've got to be at the airport, and we're going back to Brisbane. So I'll stop now and I'll show you inside. We're inside Kilmarnock House in our room 2. It's a beautiful room, lovingly restored. What's the background for this bed, huh?
No, it was in the Royal Sweden, the brothel. Yes, at Wales, and I was left in. And again, might not have too.
A fairly big room with very high ceilings. As I said, it's very well done, very well presented. Credit to them, really. It's a 75 square home with this is the ground floor. There's a first floor above us.
It's 12 bedrooms.
12 bedrooms.
It's Edwardian style.
And that's the door to the very spacious bathroom. Everything's self-contained. And I think we'll finish up on the...
What are all those things above that for?
Beg your pardon?
All those rods.
I don't know. I don't know what the rods. Jenny's just asking me about the rods. They go right around the wall. The wall. Whether they're good. Don't know. And I think we'll finish up on the stained glass. Be very nice. Nice night. We just spotted our first koala for this year. Jenny saw him from the back pergola. He's in our backyard. That's the back view of him. So I'll just stop in a minute and go around the front. Don't know really if this angle's going to be any good. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He's got the back to the sun. I'm really filming right into the sun. I'll try another angle. You can see how high up he is. I'll just bring him in with the telephoto lens. You see his back leg there all bent. Not moving much. He has moved today. He was on the other side of the tree before. That might be the best shot. He's very high up. Just showing a shot back to the house, so I bet he's coming down there to investigate. That's a tree that fell over last year. Terrific bang. On a still day, one of the biggest trees on the property at the backyard. It's a stringy bark, but the white ants had eaten the centre out of it. Gone back to the koala, because with Betty coming down, it's he's at least moved anyway. Got his ears up and looking down at Betty. And that's the closest I can get. He's moving now. It's a better shot anyway. He's got his head up. Oh, that'll do, I think. He's going back to sleep again.
Oh, Mum. Play around. Come on, I've got your bag. My bag's in that car. Yeah, how are you, girl?
Carrot.
Hello, how are you? Good now.
Friends of the family. We don't
No, don't get in the picture. We're here. No.
She holds it. Closest bridesmaid to me. Something for me.
Well, Helen, do you want to roll Tony, thank you. I'll just turn around. Are you nervous?
Ready?
I'll just wait.
Close your eyes and walk over.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure. Don't ask me which size. Oh. So I thought all of them. Yeah, you know, everyone wanted one.
I would invite you to be seated. It's my pleasure to invite Noel Armstrong to come to give us a reading. Thank you, Noel.
Love is always patient and kind. It is never jealous. Love is neither boastful or conceited. It does not take offence, and it is not resentful. Love takes no pleasure in people's faults, but delights in the truth. It is always ready to experience, to trust, to hope. It is always ready to endure whatever comes. True love does not come to an end. Thank you.
Really nice to have special friends involved in the wedding service. And I think Tony and Sue would like to express their appreciation to their wedding party, especially to Jonathan and Glenn this morning for providing this afternoon, providing the music. The first wedding was an arranged marriage. God created Eve and gave her to Adam. And in the absence of competition, Adam was delighted. My feeling is that in the presence of competition, he still would have been delighted, for God knew what he was doing. And I believe that God is still a compulsive matchmaker. And today we see evidence of the hand of God as we look at Tony and Sue together. Two people who share common interests. Sue loves the Broncos. Tony, he's getting the hang of shopping. Two people who have made a commitment to placing the other first. Two people who are committed to nurturing the spiritual dimension of their relationship at home. In short, two people who love each other. As the world became populated, parents chose to carry on this tradition of arranging marriages. And often it didn't work out too well. One character was tricked into an arranged one and had to hang around and work on a farm for another 7 years before he could marry the one that he loved. The beauty of God's arrangement is that he doesn't impose, he allows us to choose. Sue, Tony, you have chosen each other. You have been chosen by the other. This person whose hand you are holding has chosen you to be their lifelong partner, to be their husband, to be their wife. It's all very romantic before a wedding. Flowers, cruises, going out for dinner. Those long phone conversations between Sydney and Brisbane. I bet you'll be glad to be rid of the phone bill. I'd like to just share one man's attempt at maintaining the romance after marriage, for I understand that that is a common complaint. It's a gentleman by the name of Bill and his wife Lynn. They'd been married for some time and Bill decided to maintain the romance. And for Bill that meant driving away from work and just on the left as he drove out of the gate, there was a man who sat on the side of the road. He had one of those little vans with plastic buckets gathered in front of it with rather wilted looking flowers. They'd been in the sun all day. And Bill decided that the best thing he could do was to buy his wife some flowers. So he bought flowers every week from his little friend just outside of the gate of his workplace and presented them proudly, assured that this was the most romantic thing that a married man could ever do. Oh, he got them for $3 and $2 if they looked a little wilted. One day he and his wife Lynn were having a conversation, one of these heart-to-heart conversations where they would put everything out on the table. And Lynn said, you know, one of the things that I dislike, Bill, in fact I'm going to read it to you in her words. The truth is, Bill, I'm not too impressed when you give me half-dead flowers that come out of the trunk of a 58 Pasota that you were lucky enough to run into on your way home from work. Flowers are cheap and the effort is minimal. The way I see it, you're not investing enough time or energy to warrant a wholehearted response from me. You're not thinking about what would make me happy, you're just doing what's convenient for you. I said, okay, let's get this straight. You mean to say that you would be happier if I got up from my desk in the middle of my busy day, threw my study schedule in the wind, walked all the way across the parking lot, got into my car, made a special trip to Barrington, where I'd have to pay quadruple the price just because it said Barrington on the bag, and you wouldn't mind if the extra time that took would crimp my work schedule at the Y, and you wouldn't mind if I came home late because of all the extra running around? That would make you happy? Oh, I was proud of myself, Bill writes. I missed my calling. I should have been a lawyer. The jury would have been spellbound, they would have been thoroughly convinced. Without batting an eyelash, Flynn said, yes, that would make me happy. Couldn't believe it. What are you talking about? What you're asking for is neither practical, economical, nor an efficient use of time. That's a great definition of romance, Bill. You'll learn. You know, as you consider your partner tomorrow, next week, romance and maintaining the romance is so important. There are other successful aspects to a successful relationship. Now, as helpful as romance may be, perhaps the Bible contains the most profound comment on marriage when it says that a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh.
You touch my heart in places.
Beautiful. I think it expresses a lot of what is happening right here. Only unto her, as long as you both shall live. Tony, I think you wanted to say I do 3 or 4 times. Susan, do you take this man, Tony, to be your lawful wedded husband? Do you solemnly promise before God and these witnesses that you will love, honour and cherish him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, keep yourself only unto him, so long as you both shall live? You have declared your consent before God in this gathering. May the Lord in his goodness strengthen your consent and fill you both with blessings. What God has joined, let no man divide. I invite you now to exchange your rings. Before God and in the presence of us all, by solemn consent and promise, by the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of rings, Tony and Susan have now accepted each other in marriage. As a minister of the gospel and by the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Australia, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss her. Tony asked me if you could. I must say that as we've spent some time getting to know one another and talking about this special dance, I encourage him to practice. He assured me he would, and I think that he did.
I'd just like to, thought I'd take a shot of the azaleas. We've gone through a very dry period, and they've survived magnificently as far as the blooms this year. That's a magnificent showing though, salmon pink azaleas. We're going to cut them back this year for the first time. Oh, palm trees are growing very well. I've been in there a few years now. Again, I don't know what they've been surviving on. There's very little water around. Oh, Louie's following me around. Very windy day today, as you can hear the trees blowing, the leaves blowing in the wind. That's the cotton palm. That's come on very well too. As you can see, the outside the watered area, the grass is, well, it's just dead. All we need is a day's rain will bring it on. It's pretty dry. Still got a fair amount of water in the dam. Only about, oh, it's over half full. We feed the ducks every evening. You see them down there. One pair have got 2 little ducklings. We had another pair had 10 at one stage, but I'm afraid the snakes got them, the whole 10 of them. There's 2 left out of this lot. I found the pair with the 2 ducklings. The water lilies are growing pretty good this year. Two ducklings out of blooming about 18. Next year I'll try and catch them and let them mature in a cage and then let them go. Mother duck's getting worried with her baby ducklings. All the other ducks around. In Melbourne. We're in the Dandenong Ranges. We just left our hotel this morning and we're just past Sassafras and Alinda, I think it is, in a garden, rhododendron garden. Beautiful spot. Look around, hon. Just gonna go start wandering off. It's a huge area, this place. Yeah, we just got to go on a walk now. That nice tree there, huh? In the pink. Looks like a Japanese tree. Spectacular little tree there. Not in full bloom, but it'd be a spectacular sight when they're all out in flower.
No, it's just about another week or so, isn't it? Not to see it, not see it at all. Let's get the little swan and look at the fish down there.
I didn't see the black swan.
Yeah.
There's black swan there. Just going out of sight. Can't see him. But fish there too. I don't know what caused this. I don't think it'll be the snow or anything. It's just the how the tree's been bent over at one stage. Rock garden area.
Lovely magnolia up there. Sure, that's a beautiful.
It's a huge property, this, and such a variation in what they've planted. The stream down there. There's some more swans, I think. Some poplars there in a row.
Yeah.
Which
Good,
ones
Eddie.
would be
Nice
needed?
flowering tree,
It's
isn't it?
beautiful, absolutely.
Active with bees.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
You said nothing's got names on much.
Yeah, it makes it sort of difficult on the road. I think it might be grass. This one looks like it might be an old grass.
As you can see, we're fairly high up in the Dandenong Ranges. Place goes on and on and on. Very big. Look at the size of this camellia. Look at this.
This one here's got 3 heads to it.
Are they?
Look at that. You've got a close up, you can see 3 or 4 heads. Yeah, 4 heads on it.
Let's start, say that again. What were you doing?
It seems to have 4 heads on it. If you look on the heart
Yeah.
of it.
What are you saying? It's got 3 or 4
Heads
buds to
yeah.
the...
Well, look at that. Gee, that's a beautiful one.
Hmm. A little bit bigger than the camellias we grow at home. I just realised we haven't got any camellias at Burbank. We've got gardenias. This whole area is huge camellia trees. They're a bit worse off for the hot weather. A nice peaceful scene. These are geese. Got 3 little ducklings, or goslings I suppose.
Oh, look at them. They're beautiful.
They look like the ducks a little bit.
Oh,
They are.
I have good kids.
Just arrived at in the Dandenong Mountains. Just drove up from Melbourne. It was only a This is a nice little coffee shop. Afternoon tea we're having at the Dandenongs. It's called the Yesteryear Gallery. Quite nice. Jenny tells me this is the William Ricketts Sanctuary. Unusual place.
They're all clay, but they grow out of the rock.
You didn't hear that. Jenny said they're clay sculptures, but they seem to be attached to the rocks. Very effective. Very well done. Sculpture's very well good, very well done. Seems to be part of the bush, the gardens. There's another very effective sculpture, little fountain.
would be an old stump, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be part of an old stump added
What
on
he's
to.
done is put the sculptures onto it and then used to play it.
I'll have to stop taking these. There's so many of them. They're every couple of metres. Very good. The faces are very good. The water makes it very effective also.
Oh, dear me, I don't see.
He does the Aborigine faces with the lines good, don't they?
Oh.
Very good. What's there in the back? It's very good, that. Little looks strange, really. They got heads and statues coming out of everywhere. What a strange piece of architecture here.
It's lovely, isn't it? Very magical.
And they're right in the middle of a rainforest, really.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely.
One of the biggest statues here we've seen so far. Jenny disappears into the bush. Very well done. This is unusual, this one too.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
I think we'll stop there.